because it was so relieving to like be, because I'm not hurting any, but like she got to be mad and so much she had to hold it in, hold it in, hold it in. And it's so confusing because I have all of this grief that I'm experiencing now. And it's like, how do I be mad? Where do I be mad? How do I heal this? What needs healing? What is, so it's all of this like conglomeration of emotion, and that emotion being angry, allowing all of that to happen and allowing myself to have wanted a different outcome. Oh my gosh. It was so healing.
We'll make it out and fall in love tonight.
I'm fidgeting. I think we're going to get in. I'm fidgety. I'm nervous. I've got my nervous.
We didn't
on.
touch base beforehand, but do you remember that we were going to talk about some of the stuff that you've been processing this week?
A little bit. I think that's why I'm so nervous.
Are you still comfortable with that, or do we need to go in a different direction?
Well, do you want to? I don't know if it's our opener. I think we need to ease into this. I'm ready to make all the jokes, all the jokes, so that
you got the jokes,
like divert.
That's
divert,
how we need
reflect.
to call it.
The jokes.
Hey, look at you with all the jokes.
Jokes. That's what. How did you come up with that? I just said it wrong because I'm weird.
That's what you do sometimes.
I just say things wrong.
You got a trauma mouth.
Oh no! I don't know how to take that.
Take that however you want it.
Okay, right? That's what she said.
Real quick, before we get going too deep into this episode, we want to make sure and let you know that we are doing a live podcast on Halloween. So in a few short days, you can come hang out with us and join us on our YouTube channel for a live Halloween episode of the Steph and Craig show. And yes, we are going to be dressing up. And yes, it's going to be a surprise. We aren't telling anybody what our costumes are, but it's going to be worth it. Trust us. So if you go over to our YouTube channel right now and click on, I think it's up there somewhere, you can click on the live stuff or something. There's a place to click to get notified. And then you can obviously join us on Halloween Day. It is at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So in the middle of the day, hopefully you've got some time. And then that episode, we're doing it live. So come join us and hang out with us and have a good time. We're going to be telling spooky stories, right?
Yes, we are professional spooky storytellers. See, that was scary.
We got a couple days to practice. Got a couple days to practice on our spooky stories. But we're going to share some of our real life spookiest things that we've experienced. And then also what else that I can't remember that I thought there was something else that we're doing. It's just going to be fun. Yeah. So come hang out with us. It's going to be a good time. That episode will be later, or that episode will be available later as well. So if you miss it live, you'll still be able to listen to it. But we're going to have a good time. And we also have some other future live episodes in the works.
We do.
That we are planning.
Really fun. I'm really looking forward to them.
Right?
Really looking forward to them.
But this will be our first.
Yes.
Our first live Steph and Craig show. Halloween.
Here we go.
Full costumed.
That's right.
Ready to go. I'm excited. Let's do it now.
Right now, we don't have all of our attire.
We don't have our costumes yet.
Our attire. I feel like it's just like you can almost give it away. I feel like you could almost get it from my voice right there. You couldn't.
No, don't give it away too much,
I'm
dear.
not trying to. Oh no. Divert.
Back to your trauma mouth.
Oh.
No, I'm just...
Oh my goodness.
What are we getting into today? Before we get into it, is there something else? Actually, I want to mention something. Okay. So if you are only listening to the podcast, you should definitely go follow us on YouTube so you can watch the podcast. You can watch them on Spotify now too. Did you know that?
I usually watch them on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I will have to click on the
But you
Spotify
can watch this
video.
podcast on Spotify.
That's right. You can watch it on Spotify now, YouTube and Spotify. Watch them on both. See which one you like better every time.
It's a whole different experience. But if you're only watching or if you're only listening to it, go check us out and you can see that I've got my long hair down. I've had long hair for not over a decade. Because I stopped cutting my hair when I got fired from being a cop. And that was in 2015. You stopped it
right before that.
Yeah. When we got married.
Because you wanted to have like a little bit of longer hair when we got married. Mm-hmm. So you were growing it out a little bit. So you had a little bit of long hair on our wedding day and then never needed to cut it
Coming up on 10 years of long hair. And I've got it out. I've got it out and down. The vast majority of that 10 years time span with my long hair, I have worn it in a ponytail. And recently, due to all of the internal work that we've been doing on ourselves and healing, I'm at a phase of life where I want to let my hair down. That sounds very...
It sounds amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let your hair down, baby.
Let my hair down.
I love
but
it.
it's
And
you
you
know,
look
I like my hair. I like my long hair.
I do too.
I enjoy it. And I've worn it in a ponytail because subconsciously I'm embarrassed about it.
Interesting.
And we did some work on it the other day and trying to unpack why. And it's so funny because we've been doing a lot of work lately.
A little bit. We've had a little bit.
Not a little bit, a lot of it.
A lot of it.
We've been doing a lot of work.
The other L.
Yeah. A lot of inner work, a lot of inner child stuff. And you, oh my goodness,
What?
I've got to turn off that overhead.
Oh, what? Oh, so pause for dramatic effect. Lightning crashes. I was trying to say lighting. Wow, that does make a difference.
Okay.
On today's episode, here we go.
Back to it. No, I've been doing a lot of processing around teenage years for Craig. And that has been a really big chunk of, truthfully, I would say this year has really felt like that. It's been a lot of teenage stuff, me not just reminiscing, but, you know, going back over that time period. And a big chunk of that time period involves, not a big chunk of that time period, but what happened was when I was 14 years old, I grew my hair out. It didn't just happen all at once, obviously. It was a process. It took a little while. And I grew my hair out, started high school with this long kind of, you know, I have such curly, thick hair that it takes a really long time for it to go from like out, growing my hair out, to finally down and let it drop. And it finally started dropping instead of just growing out into this massive poof ball of curl. And it started dropping finally, and I was able to put it in a little ponytail, and I really liked it. I was really, I don't know if proud is the right word. I just felt good with my long hair. It felt cool to me. And then, as kids often do, right, they came up with a nickname for me and called me Ogre. And part of that nickname came from this long, flowy, poofy hair that I had. And so I got embarrassed about it. And back then, I ended up cutting it off. I only had it for a short time. It was probably that same time period, same year, maybe even 14 years old, 15 years old. So I only kept it for a real short period of time and then cut it off and never grew it back until 2015. And then I haven't cut it since. And I've been wondering, anyways, that's why I'm letting it out. Because
I love your hair.
I don't need to put it in a ponytail, right? I want to just let it exist.
Let your hair
Let
exist.
my hair
I love your
what
hair.
it is, right? Are you okay?
I did the 10 minutes. I've been trying to hold those swears in.
We have to forget about that.
Well, I do consistently. Good. But then after I'm like, damn, I can't make it 10 minutes without dropping an F-bomb.
Right.
Just let your hair down.
I am
beautiful,
letting it
and
down.
I love it.
And it feels good, and it feels very strange, and it's really hard. And I have all of this story around why I don't let my hair, you know, like I enjoy having long hair, but again, it's like I keep it in this ponytail because I want it to be, I don't know what I want it to be. It's just this unconscious thing of being embarrassed by it. And so if I have a ponytail, then it's not as easy to see. But here we are. It's pretty not hard to miss now.
What story do you want to tell? What story do you want to have?
Well, it's not even just what story. I just feel like this is how I want to, everything lately is me just doing whatever it is that I want to do. I want to exist and be the version of Craig that I just want to be. I don't want to think about what other people are thinking about. I don't want to worry about what other people are saying. I don't, all of those things that have dictated so much of my life. I just want to be through with all of it.
Yeah.
And part of that involves doing things like this, right? Coming up to the realization of, oh yeah, why do I put my hair in a ponytail? Yeah. I do like it sometimes. There are definitely times where I'm like, oh, I got to get this out of my hair. I got to get my hair out of my face.
Right.
And it drives me bonkers. But I'm trying to lean into it more and just letting it be the hair that it is. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Got it, right?
Well, I love it. And I like it down. I like it in a ponytail. I like it all around. I really like your hair.
Thank you.
But it looks really good down. I like it.
I appreciate that.
I like the way you walk when your hair's down too.
Do I walk differently?
You do. It's like
Do I bounce?
you embody a part of yourself that like, and it's connecting the dots for me. It's like you're really embodying a part and you have awareness. It's like you have more self energy because you're more aware of yourself. It's probably because, you know, you're working through all the things that it brings up. But when you sink into that, it's like you have a different confidence about you. And it's really cool. It looks really good on you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like
It's been interesting to see, and we talk about it a lot, we mention it a lot, but like our relationship and the relationship that you and I have managed to cultivate together is the safest relationship that I've ever had before. Like not just with another woman, it's just all the relationships that I've ever had in relationship with the world and with women and with men and with people and friends, family, across the board. This is the safest relationship that I've ever had before. And you're the most supporting person that I've ever been with. You're my greatest champion. And I love that we have created that for each other in our relationship. So you feel safe, I feel safe. Now we get to heal, which we're doing. Yeah. And these versions of us that have been hurt and wounded over the course of our lives because of everything that we've gone through and everything that we've been told and had to experience. And what does it look like when all of that's gone and then it's just us? Not like in our raw form, right? I'm not talking about you and me naked, even though that's a wonderful thing. Just the raw version of who we are without the stories, without the wounds, without the traumas, just this pure version of who we are and who we want to be. And that's what I'm excited to now spend whatever, the next 40 years uncovering with you and discovering and leaning into and just getting to be me. I'm excited.
I love it. I love that it's not like set in stone either. Like we get to who we're going to be for right now. And then again and again, we get to keep growing and evolving, and we don't have to stick in like a mold that says, this is who we are. This is who we're always going to be. We're never going to change. We're always going to be here. This is it. This is it. This is it. And picking that mop that you're going to use the rest of your life. And I'm using that as a metaphor because I had a meltdown about trying to pick a mop in Walmart when we first moved to Tennessee. And I was like, I can't you. It was, yeah.
It was a funny story.
It was intense. I had a straight up meltdown over a mop.
Yes.
picking the mop for the rest of our life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was obviously, there was a lot of stuff there. Anyways.
The one mop to rule them all.
To rule them. But I love that we don't have to worry about that we get to be ourselves as we grow. We get to be our authentic selves as we unfold more of ourselves over and over and over again.
I'm finally to the point with it where I'm realizing it. Like I'm acknowledging it out loud. Mm-hmm. We're talking about it on podcasts and things like that, but it's also like an everyday life thing where I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about what you'll think. Mm. I can just do what I want to do. I can just be what I want to be. I can try what I want to try. I can say what I want to say. Do you know what I mean? Whatever I come up with tomorrow, you're going to be like, that sounds good. Let's try that. Right. You're supportive of all of it. Now, obviously that's, you're not supportive of crazy Craig or all the things that Craig has come up with over the years that came from not so healthy time periods of life, right? You're not just saying like, yeah, that sounds great. I'm very supportive of you.
There'll be accountability held if needed.
For sure.
Also, like you're really good at being self-accountable, and like you're self-accountable. You don't need me to keep you accountable. And that's great because that's not my job, so being with a partner that's self-accountable. So what's left is support is pretty awesome. Did you see the reel that I sent you before we started recording?
No.
It's so funny because we're sitting here talking about
Should we watch
all
it?
of this love.
Pull it up on the screen.
How safe it is. I sent you a reel of, it was I'm a sucker for the couple skating, the ice skating.
The ice. Oh,
I love
Hey, me too.
Oh my gosh.
It was one of my favorite Winter Olympic sports to watch events. Yeah.
Right. And it's the couples. It's the the double. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't. I don't know if I'm not
Maybe everybody
necessarily
understands
saying
that
they're a
there's
couple.
two people doing ice skating together.
I'm.
Sorry, I wasn't making fun. Oh no, I made fun of you.
Anyways, it was this beautiful. It just came up, and they were like dancing to an Air Supply, and it was making love out of nothing at all.
It's
Is
the song? I'm not familiar with it. Is it one that I've definitely heard?
Well, it's Air Supply. Like you're gonna hear it through the years.
Again.
I don't think you can make it 43 years on this planet and not hear Air Supply.
We've had this conversation countless times. I know nothing about music other than
That's not true.
Well,
That's not true.
I know that there's a band named Air Supply.
See?
I would not be able to listen to music and then be like, that's them.
Well, that's
but if
okay.
you told, like, if the song that you're referring to right now, if you play, oh yeah, I've heard that song. I love this song. I might even start singing it.
You might.
But I don't know
luckily, the awareness of the song isn't what's important on this. The theory of it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like they're. It makes me think of us because, like, you know, we have
From
we
our
didn't
ice skating
come.
years.
Shut up. Listen, I'm about to delete that reel from your phone, and you don't get to see all the sweetness that you made me feel.
Sorry, I'll let you finish your story.
Okay, try. So it's like we didn't come with a really good set of skills on how to make a happy love life, a happy love story. So it's like making love out of nothing at all. And the way that these two moved together was just like, and it's like, it's exciting and it's scary and there's like risk and trust and intimacy that was so, and I'm like, this is what it's like moving through life with you. And it was just like this beautiful thing. And we're coming, and now you're making fun of, like, I was almost crying when I sent it. I'm like, get it together. We're going to go record a podcast. So I'll start crying already and just come on and be like, I love you so much. And then you started with the love. And I was like, it was a beautiful.
I love you so much.
I love you so
I'm excited
much.
to watch the reel.
Well, it's, you know, the weight behind it now. So
is it similar-ish? It doesn't sound like it is, but it reminds me of those reels where they've got the dancers, where they do those dance competitions where they don't know each other and then they just start dancing together to a song.
It's not similar to that.
Those are
because I
fun
love
ones,
the
though.
improvs.
Yeah.
I do love the improvs, but these two, it was not. It's because there's so much. It invokes so much emotion. Because the level of time that they've invested in each other and in themselves, the level of intimacy that they have to be comfortable with, the level of just blind trust that, like, they're going to be where they need to be for the other person to make this work is like, it's not improv. It is just, it's a beautiful love story is how I saw it. It was just like beautiful. It was beautiful. Even without the music, you would just watch that and it's part of you. For me, anyways, part of me just like, it just melted. It was just, it's such a way to say it was just beautiful. It was a beautiful love story. And I'm like, that's how I felt. We're ice skaters out there. You know, we could do the, what we think it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then reality. We're just
reality. Like, boop, boop, bop, boop, bop.
That's what it feels like. It feels like this beautiful dance that we're in.
Lately, because we're all metaphors here.
Yeah.
We just live a life of metaphors.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Metaphorically speaking.
Metaphorically speaking, all the time. And one of our favorites that we use is the big wave riding.
Yes.
So just to catch you up on what we're talking about, the whole idea is like big wave riding, not just surfing, but big wave surfing. I'm I'm a big fan of surfing. There's going to be a version of Craig that exists at some point that lives on the beach and just surfs every day. But what we're talking about in regards to big wave riding is like those waves where they're like the 100-foot waves and they have to get towed in by a jet ski, a wave runner, right? And that's what we're talking about when we talk about big wave surfing. And we're big wave surfers, excuse me, in this metaphor in regards to emotions and being able to navigate really big emotions and being able to go through really big emotions and not even just like waiting for really big emotions, but we go after them. We go searching for big emotional things. We go searching for the shadow. We go searching into the depths of ourselves and into our psyche and into our souls and into our relationship and blah, 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 blah. We ride some big fucking waves together. And lately what we've been, the really fun metaphor, and I love it, but partially because I'm a huge fan of surfing,
Yes.
I gotta get a drink, babe.
You get a drink. You get a drink, and I'll sit here and talk about your love for surfing. I know how to pull this wave into the jet ski. I nailed it. I almost made you spit.
I can't even get that drink down. Babe, you nailed it.
You might need another one.
You had to like come up with something for 3 seconds on camera while I took a drink. Y'all pull that big wave.
Don't worry. Once I'm on the jet ski, I know how to move it. I know how to operate it so it's safe. I just can't describe it. It's a good thing we don't talk for a living.
Right?
Are you one of the millions who have completely been swept up by the pickleball craze? The type of paddle you play with is a really important choice that absolutely affects your game. Element 6 pickleball paddles are perfect for the beginner or seasoned pro. Element 6 has created premium pickleball paddles. Don't be like us and just buy the first paddle you come across. Start out with an edge in your game. Start out with a lightweight, stylish. Of course, you want your paddle to look good and be USAPA approved, just in case, you want to take it competitive or professional. Element 6 was founded by 2 brothers, and all of their products are manufactured right here in our own backyard in Tennessee. And with a wide range of options and free shipping and returns, there's nothing to lose. Right now, you can get yours. Go to stephandcraig.co, click on the Element 6 link, and enter Steph and Craig as a promo code to save you 10% on your order. And as a bonus, Element 6 is also going to send you a free gift with every order. Get yours today, and we'll see you on the courts.
Hey, everybody, you know how we're always talking about healing together on the podcast? Well, today's episode is brought to you by a new company that's going to help you do exactly that. They're called Our Ritual. Whether you're looking to grow individually or as a couple, Our Ritual offers up personalized pathways designed by their research experts and therapists, all with the focus to help you unlock a deeper connection with yourself as well as your partner. You get full access to not just the therapist, but video exercises and other tools that are going to help you on your path. All of that for far less than regular therapy. So if you're looking for a flexible and affordable way to level up your relationship, check out Our Ritual. Their website is ourritual.com. ourritual.com. Head over to ourritual.com right now and take their quiz. This is going to help you personalize the experience so that you get the care and help that you need the most. Our Ritual offers an alternative to traditional therapy and makes it more affordable, more accessible, and a much more engaging process through their user-friendly platform. Right now, listeners of the podcast can save 20% on their first month. Simply use the code StephandCraig20 at checkout. Again, that's StephandCraig20 and save 20%. Their website, one more time, is ourritual.com. You and your relationship are worth it.
Looking for the perfect gift for somebody you love? Try looking beyond material things and get them the most unique gift possible. An unforgettable custom song from Songfinch. Songfinch lets you create an original studio quality song inspired by your own life and the people that you love. It's completely unique, personal, and it lasts forever. Songfinch walks you through a simple 4-step process to create your original song. Just tell them who the song is for, provide them some personal details, and let them know the type of song you want. Then pick your favorite Songfinch artist or get matched with one, and they'll write it, record it, and produce your custom song in just 4 to 7 days. Go to stephandcraig.co, click on the Songfinch link, and enter promo code Steph and Craig for $20 off your custom song.
The metaphor, again, is one of us, because sometimes we're both kind of out there in the ocean surfing. But when we ride like really, really big waves, you have to have somebody there. Like they have a whole team of people. All these guys are out in the water on these jet skis, cruising around, making sure that these surfers are safe. And so that's kind of the metaphor, is sometimes one of us is the one that's riding these big waves and the other one is the one that's on the jet ski. And when you crash, when you wreck, sometimes those big waves take you out. And it's this crazy, sometimes those guys will be underwater for minutes, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes underwater because the wave after the wave after the wave, right? And then finally they're able to come up enough and somebody's there on a jet ski to rescue them and bring them back. And that's what we do for each other. Yeah. It's like, you can go ride those big waves and I will be there immediately. Like as soon as you come up for air, I'm going to come grab you on that jet ski and tow you into another wave. But we've been doing that lately. And we are, because again, it's like this ongoing journey of us sharing the real life experience of what this looks like. And by this, I just mean healing together in a relationship, right? and navigating it. Baby, I keep leading into, do you want to talk about stuff now?
I'm just like take it away. You've got this. I like where you're going with this. Let's keep going.
This is really good.
We got some momentum. Yeah. Let's go.
I like this wave metaphor we're talking about.
I didn't even catch that you were leading me. I was just like, I'm here for it.
This is so good.
I'm ready to get on the jet ski. I'm like, I got you.
Because lately you've been navigating some deep waters.
Yes.
And you said that when we recorded earlier this week, you had something that came up that you were going to think about talking on the podcast, and because it was same day kind of stuff. But you've had a few days to process it, as well as I'm sure have more stuff come up in conjunction with it. So take us back.
Take us back in time. I've definitely had more things come up, and I've had more time to process. And also I've been ready to talk about it until we hit record.
Right. That's always
it's like
the
every
way it
single
goes.
time we've been ready to go, I'm like, I'm ready. And then some days we haven't recorded and we've gone and done other things, and we're sitting here and I'm like, I don't think I'm ready.
Right.
I don't think I actually like.
Should we just talk more about the upcoming Halloween live on Halloween Day?
I know.
Okay.
I know you were. I can talk about it, but I don't actually know how to start. And that's the thing. It's I'm going to fidget a lot.
That's okay.
Because it's too hard to sit still right now. It's too hard. My nerves are too... Everything is really just here. Everything is just here. No matter what I'm doing, no matter how I'm feeling, I can be feeling really good and things can be going really well. And it's just right under the surface. And I can be like rolling in it. And it's just here, but it's like even, so it's scary to touch, because it's just ready to come out. And
would you just say what you're like emotion right now?
Oh
is
yeah,
just
I'm
kind
talking
of
about
scary
emotion.
to touch?
Yeah, it's so much emotion.
Everything's so raw,
and it
right?
doesn't have like it. It's that time. You've used this metaphor because we talk about metaphors a lot about
again.
the fire hose, the fire hydrant, which is also hilarious. And that's what it feels like. It's like the hose has been kinked. And even though it hasn't, I guess in this aspect it has, because there's no trickle out. It's
just a flood.
I'm just like taking it all, just like whoosh, and it's a lot right now. But my goodness, I don't even know where to start. Let's just
go ahead.
I was gonna say, let's fuck around and find out. Let's bring some humor in. Let's ease the tension. Let's crack a joke or two. We'll get this. Dang. So I'm like leaning hard back into getting the subconscious out, getting the process. There's so many different things that I'm doing right now, and I'm doing my journaling in the morning, but it's funny. My journal is, I'm almost doing that just to check a box.
Yeah.
It's barely a paragraph. It's barely anything, because
welcome to my world. That's what I journal.
Barely a paragraph?
Yeah. I've got like less than, it's less than half a page.
Yeah.
That is like, on today's episode of Craig's
Right?
Life, I woke up and had a weird dream, and then fuck all this, and then I go into my scripts and all the different mantras and everything like that.
Yeah.
And that's okay for me.
Right?
So, yeah.
I knew you had scripts and stuff, but I just see you writing and writing and writing and writing. So I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's literally less than half a page.
Wow.
And there's so many reasons for that. Like if I go too long, then my scripting gets messed up, because I've got everything ADHD and neuro kind of blocked out, because I can only do 2 pages a day. If I extend past that 2 pages, then my brain just goes like, it's not equal. It's not even. This is off now. I can't have this off.
Oh my gosh. I relate to that so much.
Yeah.
When I was doing the scripting, it was the same. It was like I had to, like, every script had its set number of lines, and I would have to, so they fit on the page, and I'd have this many on the page and on the next. And I could tell by the way that I was writing if I was going to mess it up.
If you're going to make
and then
it
I
or
would
not.
have to like
Yep.
adjust the letters and adjust it because it had to be. I'm like, no, it fucking doesn't. Do I even know what I'm writing right now? Or am I just like, did I write and too big? I need to
wonder
make
if-
up for it.
I wonder if all of that has some connection. Because do you remember when you were a kid going through school and being taught how to write, right? You're going through the process of learning how to spell and write and everything like that. And the paper that they used to have us write on that would have a line up top, a line in the bottom, and then a dotted line in the middle.
Yes.
So you could practice writing in the space that it was designed to be written in. So you knew how to write in a uniform pattern across, a page. And like that was a very thing, like don't fuck this up, right? I mean, you were getting graded on how you write. I try to give myself, because I used to do that thing where it would be like 1,000 lines, right? I'd be like, I only have 3 lines for this one, 2 lines for that one.
Yes.
And if I run out of lines, then it's a nightmare.
Yeah, then you've messed it up. And
So I just give myself the pages now,
you give yourself
because
the
depending
pages.
upon the day, there's some days when I get that fucking pen out, and it's like, to whom it may concern. It's fucking Shakespeare with a quill.
Right?
I'm writing so beautifully, and there's a blend of cursive and it's amazing.
It's a work of art.
And then there's other days where it's like trying to write. It's a nightmare. So I just give myself the pages. As long as I contain 2 pages, then sometimes it takes me 4 lines to write this sentence.
Yeah, that's funny. It's funny how much goes into it. Like we take the simplest thing and make it hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Hard as how long? How many times I was looking at the time. I'm like, how many times have I said the F word? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But I don't script anymore.
Okay.
I actually have stopped scripting, but I do a lot. I'm bringing in a lot of manifestation. I'm still bringing in a lot of intention. I'm doing a lot. I'm just not writing them anymore. What I am doing is I'm tracking the planets. I can tell you where like the planets are right now. I know which ones are right. I know what they're doing with my chart. I know what the moon's doing. And I have my little bit of journal, but I'm doing morning pages. And the morning pages, like honestly, it's annoying and it's like cathartic at the same time, because on one hand, I feel like I'm being bossed around because they're 3 pages. 3 pages. I feel like I'm being bossed around. I have to fill pages front and back. It's just like this monotonous
Front and back?
Well, not 3. Okay, so I mean like 3 solid pages. So it's a page and a half is what I end up writing.
Okay.
So it's
Front,
back, front.
Okay.
And now I'm like, have I misunderstood this? Have I been doing it wrong this whole time? Do I need to go and reevaluate everything? Is it 3 pages front and back? Maybe I misunderstood.
What we should
now
do,
I'm like,
let's start sending our journal entries to my first grade teacher, Mrs. Addie.
Yeah.
We'll send them in each week. She
like,
can
are we
grade 'em.
doing this right? Are we journaling right? Okay. So how I'm choosing to do it is 3 pages, front, back, front. And sometimes because it's odd, sometimes it's back, front, back, because it depends on how it goes, right?
You're living on the edge
But
over there.
I am. I really am. But I get to write whatever.
You feel like.
It's the squirrel brain on paper.
Okay.
So when you're starting to write and then you get lost and you're thinking about laundry, or then you're here we at and did I get this today? You're just, as the thoughts come through, you're not trying to keep yourself on track. You're not trying to, like, you don't have an order that you have to do.
You doing some free writing?
Free writing.
Nice.
So it's really neat what happens because when you first start writing, you're like, fuck, it's going to take forever. And then you just keep going, and it's either calming because it allows whatever my brain's doing, it gives it space to think and fill it. So if I'm here, then I get to be here, and then I get to jump here. And then it feels like I'm unrestricted, unconfined. I'm not being held down, held back. It's like, I can just think whatever. And it just like allows it to come out without trying to herd the wild cats that are going around up there. And because there's that freedom, it's also allowing deep subconscious to come up. So I've been pulling stuff that, I'm often writing and sobbing because it's pulling up that I haven't been able to look at. And when you allow, you're not trying to stop your thoughts, then it comes out. So I'm getting processing work. I'm getting release work. I'm getting, oh, okay, I guess I should work on that one. A little more awareness coming through. And a big one that came up, I think the writing part came, it's like pulling me to what I want to work on, right? It's pulling me to what I want to work on. And I had a moment where I was getting ready to record an episode.
The podcast.
And before I needed to start tapping. I needed to get through because I had this whole thing that was coming up, and it was so much. It was so much. And I was listening to this person talk, and I'm doing a terrible job. I'm so nervous right now. And I'm also trying to collect pieces that are past and that have been past for a little bit. And my brain is doing that. You have to put it in chronological order.
Yeah,
you have to have it exact.
Linearly.
I'm trying to go linearly and literally. Did I say it wrong?
We both said it wrong. By
linearly.
The way, that's not how you say.
Linearly.
You're trying to go,
linearly.
Like you said, chronologically. That's a much better word for both of us.
I can say chronological.
I can say linear.
Linearly. That's a word.
That might not be a word. If it is, you definitely didn't say it right. But I said the same thing. So back to your...
I don't even know where I was.
Well, you're having a hard time getting all of this out.
It is.
Because you're trying to go through the process in that linear fashion of storytelling.
Exactly. And it's also, I'm trying. It's a trauma thing too, where I feel like I'm writing a statement.
Okay.
I have to be very specific. I can't get it wrong. There's so much at stake here. And I'm like, oh, that's not real. That's not real.
It's not real at all.
That's not real. I'm not in any danger here.
No. Really safe.
Really safe while I talk about trauma. While I talk about sadness, while I talk about grief and all these things that are coming up. And there's so many times I half-ass it. If I'm listening to something, I multitask. If I'm listening to affirmations, if I'm listening to improvement, if I'm listening to motivation, if I'm learning something.
Yeah, if you're doing an audiobook, if you're on a podcast that you want to really be absorbing,
I'm just doing multiple things at once. I do it while I'm getting ready. I do it while I'm showering. I do it while I'm doing dishes, do it while I'm driving. It's really hard to do just one thing.
Yeah.
And I also feel less productive if I'm focused. I'm like, you're failing.
That must be really hard for you. How do you do I can just do one thing at a time. Right now I'm just doing a podcast.
You are doing it. You're nailing it. Wait, I missed the
Hold on.
thing.
What? Tell me more about
all
that
of
sucks.
It.
That's hard. I don't know how you just do one. I just do one thing.
You're really good at it.
I can just focus.
You can. You do know how to hyperfocus.
I don't have a hard time.
I need to make this go faster.
It doesn't need to be linear, babe.
I know. I'm trying
What's
so hard.
What's the core of what came up? What's the memory or the realization that you had?
I'm like, don't rush me. It's like if I start to I'm going to panic. Yeah. You got a little bit of water on you?
I spilled my water.
Okay. So I focused. I just stopped what I was doing. I stopped getting ready and I just focused. And I listened and I let a memory come up. That was really challenging. And it's when I was really young. It's one that I've done a lot of work on. And this has happened several times, but this was, it was a difficult memory. It was a difficult experience and it was a confusing experience. And I was looking at the ways that it affected me, the impact that it had, and not in I wasn't completely rolling in it and reliving it. I was witnessing the effect that it had. I was witnessing what the scene actually was. I was very much seeing the scene and not living the moment.
Okay.
It was like total movie screen. I was very
So
much
you're watching
seeing it. I'm
and then
watching
seeing
it
like
happen.
the ripple effects of it.
So I started to tap. I started to go through, hitting the points, going through them, and just allowed myself to feel. And I had something, because I had something new come up with that. And while I was going through and tapping on it and tapping and like releasing just allowing it to be, allowing my body to experience it, allowing it to take action, there was this point where it was anger. And it wasn't anger as I'm processing this as an adult. I was a little girl. I was like 3. So it was allowing that little girl to be angry. It was looking at being there with her and allowing her to be angry. And anger's been something that has been coming up for a while that I'm like, I don't know how to handle. I don't know how to deal with. And because I'm not processing anger accurately, anger will come out in areas I don't want it. Because I'm not feeling it here. So here I'm like, oh, that makes me angry.
Yeah.
Like, well, that doesn't really need to make me angry, but this thing I could feel it for.
You've been wanting to get at anger for a while.
And this moment, and I want to describe it partially, but I don't want to give details because details are not needed. And also that's like private, but I want to talk about like some of the anger and how it felt. Like I let, a 3-year-old's imagination, at first it was this violent outburst in a sense of like taking our power back. And I was aggressive in it. Like I was strong. I could fight. I could punch. it was just like violent, and my brain went completely violent.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of making myself wrong, I'm tapping and I'm allowing the 3-year-old to have a violent outburst for a traumatic event that was happening that she didn't have a say in. So I was allowing the violence out, and she was like violent. And then it changed to where she was like a dragon, and then she could just burn everything and was just like roaring this fire out of her mouth. And I'm just going and sobbing because it was so relieving to like be, because I'm not hurting any, but like she got to be mad.
Yeah.
And so much she had to hold it in. And it's so confusing because I have all of this grief that I'm experiencing now. And it's like, how do I be mad? Where do I be mad? How do I heal this? What needs healing? What is, so it's all of this like conglomeration of emotion and crazy, but like so there's dragons, and then I gotta like fly away. And then I was with the person, that was gonna save me, and like we were driving away, and then it was just like this, I rewrote this whole scene of being able to protect myself, being able to be like big and strong and take care of and it doesn't change anything, but like that emotion, being angry, allowing all of that to happen and allowing myself to have wanted a different outcome. Oh my gosh. It was so healing, and it felt like so good. Do I have?
No, that wasn't a cue for you
like,
to.
Am I emotional? It's like the bugger's coming out. Like I'm sitting over here just snotting away.
No, I had an itch on my face, babe.
You did it a couple of times. Every time we looked at it, and you were like, and I'm like, uh-oh. Did I get like a dog slobber up here from my emotions?
This was such a beautiful thing.
It was and it was so big. And I just kept like the feeling that I felt after, because again, it's not like I've been so angry, like and blamey, and it's not, I didn't feel that like, you're wrong, you did this, or I'm wrong. And like, it was just like, oh, this is what I don't know what happened, but it changed. Like there's so much, there's so much work that has been taking place. There's so much, and I was able to see it and allow myself the space to be mad without villainizing myself. And I wasn't villainizing anyone else either. And then after I was like able to do that, then I started to see the truth of the scene, and it's not like what I was experiencing was real, but the amount of hate and anger that didn't know where to go because I knew something was wrong and I couldn't do anything about it and I couldn't talk about it. And I just had to keep it. And that has an effect on a person, especially a little girl, like a child, it has an effect. And I could see the truth of it. I could see the injury. I could see where responsibility needed to be and where it didn't need to be. I could see, it just took, I don't even know the words. I don't have the words for it. It took when you watch the news, and I'm not minimizing myself here. I'm doing my best to explain it. But when you watch the news and they either sugarcoat, there's a sugarcoating here. There's one thing where you sugarcoat it because you don't want something to be bad. And that's what I was sugarcoating. And then when you feel it, it's like you make things like way worse. And it's all these I don't know. It just stripped away story, whether I'm making things like
bigger than they are.
And it's again, I'm not minimizing myself because it was big, but there's parts of it. There was other people involved that were also not, they didn't need, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It peeled the layers off of trauma, of chaos, and allowed me to really see.
Yeah, it sounds like you just saw it clearly.
I saw it clearly.
Free from judgment, free from story, free from space and time. Like it's been such a long time ago, and being able to just suddenly see the thing for what it really was. And free from the charge of it all.
Free from the charge, and with clarity of free from illusion of, oh, it's not this, or like everybody deserves to, my first thing was like, everybody does, it was, like I said, it was violent. It was a very violent outburst that my 3-year-old little self got to feel. And then there was like peace that came. There was like understanding that had no business being in my space before I got to feel angry about it, where I was trying to see where other people were coming from and understand their life and see what situation they were in. And that had no business until I got to be validated and I got to experience my feelings in that situation and how bad it hurt and how scary it was and how much anger and pain and rage needed to be released. And it felt like that was missing. It's always like, that didn't happen. That's not real. I really need to just feel for these. And that can't happen until you allow, you need to be seen, you need to be validated, and you need to allow your space to feel and have a reaction because your body experienced something and you need to have a reaction instead of shoving it down. And there was when I allowed myself to have that reaction in a way that felt like I was there with 3-year-old me.
Yeah.
And so I could I wasn't reliving it. And when you it's just chaos. But the space came to where I could process, I could see. And there's so much healing that unravels. And there's tons of experiences with this. And so I'm sitting with that and I'm thinking about all the ways that there's so much grief in my space right now. And there's so much confusion. And there's so much that, I don't have to go through. I can just shove it down and then be a reactful person. But I'm ready to look at things. I'm ready to feel things. I'm ready to release things, even when I'm not, because I'm scared and we're talking about it and I want to hide away and I don't like, let's just tell jokes on the podcast. So I had that. And then
that's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
That's a really big deal to be able to go back and do that type of work, because you identify a core wound, right? And you said that it's something that you had already, it's not a new memory. It's not some, oh my God, I forgot this. It's not something that was blacked out. It may have been at some point in your life, but something you've already been aware of and already have done work around. And I think that's important too to highlight, because I know you and I both do this where it's like, cool, healed it. And then we move along our merry way thinking everything's fine and dandy. And now we don't have to worry about that thing anymore, right? Because we've looked at it, we've healed it, we've gone to therapy about it. I'm good to go. That part of me is done and over with. Whew, check that box. Right. I don't have to worry about that part of my life anymore. And we move on. And then things don't change enough. And we're still sad. And there's still the same stuff in our space that was there prior to having awareness of this thing. And it's like, well, having awareness of this thing didn't really change anything. And I think from what we've experienced and what we've gone through and kind of what you're highlighting right now as well, right? It's always it's this journey that just keeps going, where you get more from it, the more you're willing to sit with it. And I think it's really beautiful that you are able to be in that space again, especially during this time of life where you're navigating those really big emotions with the loss of your dad and the grief and the whole 9 yards and all of it. And not only that, but being able to sit in that space, babe, and then go back to that spot and give your 3-year-old self, because what it sounds like is she just got to have this tantrum, just this complete, like, I remember being so overwhelmed emotionally with what was going on as a child that all you wanted to do was lay down on the ground and kick and scream and yell and fight.
I still want that sometimes.
Right? And that's kind of what it sounded like she got the opportunity to do, was just to rage in the way that a 3-year-old would rage.
The way that she had every right to.
Yeah.
And didn't need to contain, all of that.
That's really beautiful.
Thank you. So I kept going. That was enough for that. That was enough for that. And then we recorded, and but then it came up, like something came up in the 3 pages, and I've had another cycle of that coming through. It's like I'm looking at these things now, and chances are you've heard us talk about merino wool because we love it, and you're going to hear us talk about it again. We decided it was really important to us to start bringing in and wearing natural fibers that were good for our health. Woolly Clothing offers 100% merino wool, natural fabric, which is a healthier choice compared to the other synthetics that are often made with plastics. I've been wearing their underwear, their athletic tees, their shirts, and I stole Craig's pants because those are my favorite things to sleep in. Don't worry, he went and got himself his own pair. They're durable, they have tons of versatile styles, and it also really helps when you're trying to wick away all that moisture that they're also odor resistant. They're easy to take care of and also eco-friendly. So head over to stephandcraig.co right now, click on the Woolly link and enter the promo code Steph and Craig and get 15% off of your order. If you're ready for natural fibers that feel good on your skin, help regulate your temperature, keep you dry, don't stink, and on top of all of that, look really good. Go pick yourself up some clothes from Woolly now. How long have you been using those same non-stick pans that are all scratched up and scraped, not cooking well, and putting off those flecks of that non-scratch surface into your food? It's terrible for you. Do you still have those? We started getting serious about not only the food that we were putting in our bodies, but what we were cooking that food on. So we switched to American-made stainless steel cookware by Heritage Still. Heritage Still is a family-owned business located right here in Tennessee. They have been building great stainless steel clad cookware for over 40 years. They're versatile for all cooktops. They're oven safe, easy to clean, and they have a lifetime warranty. We switched out all our pans, and I am so glad we did. I love cooking with our Heritage Still pans, and I love the fact that when I'm cooking for my kids, my family, I have the peace of mind to know that it's safe for them to eat the food that I'm making. Head over to stephandcraig.co and click on the Heritage Still link and make sure you enter promo code Steph and Craig to save 10% on your order. Start cooking healthier for you and your family today. I'm connected to myself, which didn't feel possible before. There was like, to allow yourself the space and time and action that it takes to be able to get to a point where you're looking at a trauma. You're looking at an experience. You don't have to call it trauma. You're looking at an experience, something that you experienced that caused you, where you didn't feel like you had any power or say, and you didn't know what to do with. Okay, you can label that however you want. Definitely call that trauma, but that gets to be like where you didn't have power, something happened and you didn't have a say and you didn't have a way to protect yourself in that moment. So much of that has been a reliving and I couldn't handle it. Or like, because it comes up, you know, the PTSD, it flashes all the time. There's still stuff that flashes. And
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm thinking of that funny reel where my girlfriend has PTSD.
Okay, not that one right now. You go ahead and laugh over there, but we can't say that one. Okay, moving on. It is funny, but yes. Or I get very like dedicated to working on it, and I put my head down and I'm here, but I'm so action oriented that I'm not in my body. I am all here. And it's so hard to be able to combine, to be able to see what's happening, to be true, and to feel at the same time without being bombarded with. That's why like help is so important on these things. But I was doing the morning pages, to circle back to why I was telling that story. And another situation came out where I started, and it was so silly. It was so silly, but it felt so good, where I struggle with spelling. I struggle with reading the words right. I struggle with pronouncing the words right. It's very much a thing that I've had to work on my entire life and overcome. Now I'm a good reader. I love to read, and I don't like to read out loud.
Yeah.
I think
that's really
spelling
common.
is so scary. If somebody's watching me, I'm like, spell the. I can't, because you just asked me directly. See, and you're watching me write it or say it. I can't do it.
Yeah, all that's going back to first grade.
Right?
When we were taught how to read and write.
It's big.
Yeah.
And then you have like, do I know the difference between, you know, your and your or theirs? Like all of these, the twos, do I know the difference between them? I do. And I do because of how mean people are and how shitty they are and how bad they treat you as a person, and the grammar police. And it drives me crazy. You are making fun of somebody and judging somebody based off of that. So I know how to spell those. I know the difference use of the words. I know how to use them because of people being terrible. And I'm like, this does not judge. This isn't who I am as a person, whether or not I've used the wrong your. This doesn't affect the statement that I just said. If your only argument from what I just said is the fact that I didn't put the apostrophe in the right place, really, did you like, okay, I'm not talking to you. And it's like, it's such a thing that I'm so scared. I want to tell you
a funny story about, go ahead.
Well, let me finish this, and then I promise you can.
It's just about the writing thing.
Well,
go ahead.
Can I finish? I just want to finish this. I just want to finish this real fast, and then I'm done. I'm done taking up all the time.
You haven't. No, you're fine.
But I was writing that, and I'm spelling the words wrong, and I'm so scared because somebody's going to read my 3 pages, and they're going to be mean, and what I did on that, I'm like, I don't give a flying fuck if I spelled that right. These are mine. I don't care, and I just again allowed all of this anger to come out. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm writing it. I'm in my space. I'm writing my pages. This is for me. This is my healing process. And I'm worried about, like, so I went off on my 3 pages.
Nice.
I was like, if you're like, fuck you, this says more about you. And I just like, and it wasn't to anybody in particular, even if it was at points. You know, I'm seeing people that it was. I'm very much their faces.
I got a list of people I'd like to yell at.
And I just did it.
Yeah.
I just wrote it out. And I'm writing sloppy and messy. And afterwards I was like, man, that felt good. Like that felt so good to just release. Like, I don't care. If you're reading somebody's journaling, I don't care. I don't care if I spell like, so there's just so much of a release that came from that. And it has nothing to do with who I am as a person. It has nothing to do that. It's not a judge on my character. It's not a judge on my worth. It has nothing to do with who is sitting next to you. It's not like, man, they were almost really good, but they spelled you're wrong. So you're garbage. What the fuck? No. No. You can take that and do whatever you want with it, but you're not in here. Use, huh? Right?
And then we use on our, then we put that same shame on ourselves.
I did. Until I was doing my pages, and I'm like, not anymore. I don't care.
Cool,
so now tell me your story.
It's not anywhere close to cool as that. But
you don't know that.
I'm really...
It might be. I think it is.
No, it's not. I'm really excited about this, though. It sounds like you're finding ways to access anger. Because I was thinking about it as you said it. Anger has been a lot, like it's been in your space a lot this year. You've been wanting to try to fill, and truthfully for years. It's not just this year, right? It's something that over the course of our relationship, I've tried to help you access it in the ways that I access it.
Yeah.
And that has not gone well. We've had some real terrible, we should tell that story of like, where were we coming back from? Do you remember?
California.
Was it California? Mm-hmm. Was it that trip when it was just the two of us? Mm-hmm. I don't think we were in Arizona.
We were in Arizona.
In the canyon.
It was just the canyon in Arizona.
Yeah. And that was the trip so that was like 2019. That wasn't all that long ago. In my brain, it's like
no, I think
2018.
I think it was 18.
Either way, we were coming back from California.
Are we going to tell that story?
It's about anger.
Okay.
I guess it's not that cool of a story.
Oh, it is. I don't know. What were you going to say about the writing?
Oh.
You were going to say something about the writing.
Because you're talking about how you're judgmental about how you write. We're talking about writing in these journals and how we misspell things. Mm-hmm. The word rhythm is part of one of the things that I write every day in my journal. So I have this script that I write, and rhythm is part of this thing, right? I spell it wrong every single time. I don't spell it right. The way that I spell rhythm is wrong. I know that. I 100% have awareness that I'm spelling it wrong. And I used to, like a year and a half ago, I went through the process of like Googling it, figuring it out, writing it the correct way. And then every day for like months practicing it. I'm writing rhythm right. I know that I can do it. It's gone. It's gone. I write rhythm the wrong way. And that's fine.
It's fine.
Again, who fucking cares?
Who fucking cares?
Right? Just who cares?
Who cares?
I don't care. So I just write whatever I want to write. So we have this anger story.
I love you and your rhythm.
Thank you.
Does that feel weird?
Does what feel weird?
Like to give like a lot, like to now say, hey, that's okay that you spell it wrong and you're loved and you're seen. Is that like weird or does that feel good?
It does feel weird.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I think it feels weird because it's in front of people.
Right.
You know, I think sometimes it's easy for me to receive, not sometimes, a lot of times lately I've been able to like really receive the love that you give me, receive the praise that you're giving me. Like it feels really good. I'm like, yes, more, please. I want more. Because it's this whole thing of like, you know, I haven't been able to receive all of that stuff. It's one of those things where somebody gives you a compliment, it bounces off. You know, we've got all of these shields up. I have all of these shields up over the course of life that I've used to protect myself and keep my heart protected. So when somebody tries to say, hey, you've done a good job here, or this is, you know, literally just love and praise and support, I haven't been able to receive it.
Yeah.
And so now I'm able to receive your love and praise and support. So I'm like, give me more, give me more. Okay. And then we're like, oh, that's too much.
Right.
And sometimes it's too much in front of people,
right.
Even though the brain fuck that we have for years of sitting in front of cameras and thinking that they're people, like we're like, it's so hard to be because nobody else is in this room. It's just you and me.
Yeah.
But we still definitely think about that person out there. So we were coming back from California, and this was like it was a beautiful trip. Is it the same trip that I'm thinking of? Like we went and and it culminated in that?
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. Do you remember what was coming up for you? Why that anger was there?
I don't. I remember, I remember being like not understanding, like I didn't want that. I didn't want to do it that way. I didn't like it just, I don't remember why you wanted to go into that. I don't remember. I just
Because I'm
remember
fresh
being
off of-
in that. Well, I was also, but I was on a different high.
Okay, let's catch everybody up so that they're a part of this conversation as well. We went on this beautiful trip. It's not sounding like it. It's sounding like a shit show. It's interesting that it ended in that because those two memories aren't connected for me.
Really?
Yeah. Like I remember very well the anger thing.
Yeah.
But
like I went to Sedona.
Yes.
And then came home.
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
you went
I went to an everyman retreat thing in California.
Mm-hmm.
And then you flew out to California and I picked you up and we went on this little, it wasn't quite a week, but it was like 5 or 6 day trip.
Podcasting road trip.
Yes, it was this beautiful experience where we drove down the coast of California and stayed in a couple of different
spots. We had
also
quit smoking.
Yes.
Right then.
I quit smoking when I picked you up from the airport.
When you picked me up from the air, I quit smoking in Sedona, so I had like a week and a half on you.
Yeah.
And you like that day.
I did.
Well, the day that you picked me up.
Right before I picked you up from the airport, I was waiting down the street from the Oakland airport and had this last cigarette. And it was horrible.
Right? It made you
such a
sick.
shitty smoke. It pissed me off so bad. I was so angry that was the last smoke.
Right?
The last smoke should be just this glorious orgasmic experience of like, and it was like, it just was terrible. But we had this beautiful experience. There was actually, part of this trip involved us going to a nude beach.
That's right.
And I tracked down.
Twice.
Did we go twice to the nude beach? I'm trying to
and we
remember
were nervous that it wasn't going to be as amazing the second time, and we didn't want to ruin the first memory.
Yeah,
but we did it, and it held up.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It was a cool little beach. It's this. It's not even a big one. It's like this private little, not private, secluded.
Secluded.
Right. Private makes it sound like it's somebody. It's just a secluded little beach. It's public. There wasn't, anything private about it, but it's very secluded. We had a great time. It was a funny experience going there, right? That was because we had plenty of outdoor nudity before in our lives, but never public outdoor nudity
with other
people.
We were not alone on the beach,
no.
And that was also like.
Yeah, didn't I surprise you with that too?
No,
you
I
knew
don't
that
remember.
It was coming, right?
I think I knew it was. I think you because if you're like we're getting naked, I'm like no. We knew we were going to do it.
You.
Oh my hell, that's terrible. I knew we were going to do it. I was ready, but it was still like nerve wracking.
Yeah.
And we stay because we could see, and so we had our clothes on. We had our modesty socks on.
You had to hike down to get
right.
to it. Right. And then as soon as you kind of like get down through the bushes and everything down the cliff, then you get on the beach and there you are.
Right. I thought that we were going to like ease our way into it.
Yeah. Steph was let's go down to our swimsuits.
It was just like one thing at a time. And I look over at you and I don't know why I had to do it this way, but I just I followed your momentum. I rode your courage wave.
I just stripped it all
And you
off.
just stripped down and I'm like, oh my God, we're getting naked. Go, 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 go. And I just took it off and was like, we're naked.
It's the only way I was able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I would have just kind of like,
we're
like
testing the
I gotta rip it off
waters,
like a Band-Aid.
right?
Yeah. And then it's just this amazing freedom feeling. Feels so great. It was such a beautiful day.
Did not know how amazing it feels to be naked in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was even cold too. It wasn't a warm part of the ocean. It wasn't down in San Diego. It was up in Pismo Beach area that this occurred. Yeah.
Yeah. It was amazing. So I felt like it was just a continuing of all of this.
We had a magical trip.
It was magical. It was
such a romantic experience. We watched A Star Is Born.
Oh, that's right.
that had come out at that time.
That's
and so we went and
right.
saw that there. That's why it's one of our favorite movies. I
That's
think it's a
right.
great movie. I know that there's some people that don't. Some differing opinions on Gaga and Bradley Cooper, but it sure was a magical movie for us. We
loved
really
it.
enjoyed it
Yeah.
and the experience. And we did some podcasting back then. We got some really cool interviews with some amazing people. And then we come home, and apparently this anger portion of this trip, again, it's so fascinating to me that I don't have.
Do you remember how we like decided that that's what was needed?
I was trying to help.
But I was in a good place, I felt. I just got done with
that's
the
what's
retreat.
interesting
I
is
had
like
just
what was coming up.
just did this nude bee. I was
'Cause
feeling
this is
great. I
this-
quit
this-
smoking. I was feeling capable from how I remember. So I do have a chunk missing
Yeah.
because I'm like, things are well, and now
What
we're
have
in
we
that
blocked
spot.
out?
Did you block it too?
Well, for me, I don't have, these aren't
They're
these aren't
two
the same
separate
trip.
events,
Yeah.
right?
For me, these
Okay.
are two separate trips.
What did we do? Did we rob a bank?
Maybe. Wouldn't
Where
put it
did we
past
put the
us.
money? Because
That's a great question.
We hit it so good, we don't even remember.
That's
Where did we
definitely
put the
why we're
money?
ADHD squirrels. Because we had a bag of $1 million
Right?
at some point.
It's like how the squirrels can't find
Right.
like what 90% of their nuts. They just go around burying
we've
it.
got money stashed
We've
all
got
over this
like
house.
we've got not even this one because we forgot before we moved, so it's somewhere in Utah.
Go find it. It's
Go
in a
find it.
desert. I
It
don't
might
remember.
be in Arizona.
I don't remember what triggered all of this, but the story that I have about this anger event that we're talking about and that we keep alluding to like it's some big secret.
It's like an anger ceremony.
Well, we were on a road trip. Again, not the same road trip with the nude beach in California and the amazing love and everything else, right?
Not that one.
Not that one. Some other road trip. We were coming back from somewhere, and there's a canyon in between the Nevada and Utah border, right down there on the southern part of Utah. You have to drive through this canyon to get to Arizona, and then from Arizona you get into Nevada or something. I don't remember.
We were coming the other way, so Nevada,
go-
Arizona, Utah.
Correct, but yeah. Anyways, these
It was
facts
just
are.
the tip.
Here we go again with it's got to be linear.
Oh my gosh,
Right, we're gonna get in trouble if we don't get these facts
I did
straight.
get it right.
And in my mind, you're struggling with anger. You're struggling with emotion inside. It's like you have something inside of you that you're trying to get out and you're trying to access.
Well, you weren't wrong.
Right? So that's my thought. Like if I'm
Yeah.
retelling this story from my experience, that's what's coming up. Can I say exactly what we were talking about or what had sparked it? No. But it's like you very much had awareness that there was something in you that you were trying to access and you were trying to get out and you were, God, I can't do it. I can't get it. I'm fresh off of, I didn't realize it now because the two events aren't connected, but it is the time period in my life where I'm doing lots of men's work, facilitating at events, hosting the group in Salt Lake. Like I'm balls deep in men's work right now.
Well, you had just done like this thing on the retreat that you were coming off of, like this exact thing.
Right. But again, these two events aren't connected in my mind, but it makes a lot of sense now that, oh, baby, I got a solution for this.
Yeah.
It's an anger ceremony. I know how to take you through this anger ceremony. I know how to help you through this process. You got some anger, some repressed emotion, whatever it might be inside of you. I've got a path that's going to help you with this, right? So I'm ready. Here I am, ready to support you, ready to help you, ready to facilitate for you, ready to do everything to rescue and save you, right? I've got it all squared away. And in my brain, the solution to this is we're going to pull over on the side of the fucking highway in the middle of this canyon and walk down from the roadway and just have an anger ceremony on the side of the highway. And that was going to somehow be healing for you. I'm looking at it now, like that makes no sense at all. It's a terrible idea.
Hindsight, right?
Right? I don't want to say I'm an idiot, but that's a very...
You're not an idiot.
I know.
Your intention was
It's
there.
a
It didn't
terrible
work
idea.
because we have more tools now, but you're not an idiot.
Right. That's
It
definitely
didn't-
me trying to solve everything with a hammer.
Right? It definitely didn't, it wasn't...
Let's pull over and get angry in the desert.
Right? It wasn't what was needed.
Definitely not.
And
I was trying to force you to do it.
You were
not
very much.
Not in a forceful way.
I mean, it was like pretty forceful.
Well, Well, this is interesting. What's
But,
your perspective of it? What's your
But just
experience?
before, like, those are, you literally just got those tools. And I'm not, like, I'm straight off the bat, like, it was not a healthy thing for us to do. You went about it wrong. I went about it wrong.
Yeah,
You,
100%.
you know, all of this thing, it was not a healthy thing. Like, that was like one of those, what the fuck are they thinking?
Yeah.
That was one of those where we're just like, we got this.
Mm-hmm. Look at us heal together.
And we were both very much diving in. Like, we were dark night of the soul. We were diving in. We were like looking at shit. We were healing. I was doing mine. You were doing yours. You just came off of one. You just got new tools. So to say that you were an idiot is like, I prefer you to not speak that way about yourself on this, because you weren't an idiot. You were doing the best you can with what you had at that moment, as was I.
Mm-hmm.
And we can look at it now and realize that we had it wrong, but we weren't, like, you're not an idiot. We got it wrong, but we got it with the tools that we had. That's how we went into that.
What's your experience of it? Like, your memory of it?
I honestly, like, I don't want to give my experience on the podcast right now.
Okay.
Like, there's still like weirdness in that. There's still like, I don't want to talk in detail about that.
Okay.
It didn't, you know, my perspective. You can share yours.
Well, I did.
Okay. But that's all you got?
I mean, and I remember it didn't work.
Yeah.
I remember that it was like, I remember about probably not even halfway through. I remember when it was, when we were just like done, I'm like, oh, I fucked up. This is definitely not what we should have done. Like, this was not a good idea. I knew immediately that I was just like, oh yeah, here I am. This was not the way. But it was so like, I just, you know, I wanted to help so much.
I didn't want to let you down.
Well,
Yeah, I didn't want to let you down. I knew I wasn't, but I also knew that it wasn't what I needed. It wasn't what I wanted. And I was getting really fucking mad. I was getting really mad.
So it worked. Tapped into anger.
You. Because I needed it. And I'm like, why? Like, I remember part of it was like, I told you, I don't want to do it this way. This isn't what's working for me. And you didn't hear me. And instead of being like, Craig, I don't want to do this. This isn't going to work. Like, this isn't what's working for me. And standing, I was like, you know, because I felt like you took my power, because I didn't have it. So I let you take my power.
You know, I did a terrible job of
that's not.
When you say I didn't hear you, I heard you, but I didn't think that you understood. It's not like that you didn't understand what we were doing, but I thought that you didn't understand what we were doing. Like, it was like, if you trusted me, then this was going to work, because this wasn't what you thought it was. I think that's what it was I didn't think that you knew what it was that I was trying to explain. Like, this isn't what you think it is. This is going to be something very different, and it's going to be okay. And it's like, this is how this stuff can happen. Like, we can tap into this emotion, release this emotion. It's going to be all right. And I thought in your brain it was something else. And you were like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, it's not that. Like, just hold on. For fucking failure across the board, both of us, right?
Right. Well, what I was saying on that part wasn't that this was, I was taking my power back in that state of saying that, like, I gave you the power to make that decision. You didn't take it, because I could have. Like, I gave you the power to make that decision, but I felt like I couldn't. And so then I was mad at you, and then felt like I had to, like, pull, like, there's still part of it that, honestly, truthfully, fuck that, came up that I didn't have awareness of, and that became a part of the healing that I took down the road. But, like, it's like we're talking about a crime here. What we're talking about is anger. We're talking about literally going where there was a secluded area and expressing emotion,
like you
being
just
angry.
like I guess it's probably some
That's
people
all.
like
I
imagination
know
could
if
be
we're
like
just
what
like it
happened.
sounds like
we just got
an
out of the
assault
car,
happened.
right? We just got out
we're
of
talking about feeling anger.
Yeah, we got out of
That's
the
it.
car and we walked down the little berm
We're
to
like,
where
violation.
right, so that it wasn't like right on the side of the
Right?
roadway or anything. We're probably like 50 feet or something
There
off the
was
road.
emotion.
And then it's just me sitting there trying to encourage you to feel emotion and let emotion be felt
like that's
in your
it.
body. That was all that happened.
And instead,
Somehow we've blocked out this fucking trip.
right?
We knew we fucked up.
Yeah, we did. We did. And the ride home, oh my gosh, it was like
Yeah, we still had like 4 hours.
right? And that was like the scene from Pulp Fiction when she's all bloody
Where
when she had
it's-
OD'd and he's like, how are we going to get home? And they're just like in that silence
Right,
where they
that's
just,
so funny.
that's how we drove home.
We were so John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John
were.
on the nude beach at the beginning of the trip. Everything was amazing, right?
Yeah.
And then on the way home from the trip, it's totally that fun meme, yeah.
That was the best description of
Of that trip to California.
And then I became, like it was like that. It's created a lot more conflict in our space too.
Did it?
Because I was mad
Right,
and
yeah.
I was also scared and I felt like I couldn't do it. And I felt like the story that I had was that you were very much judging me and mad at me and disappointed in me and very like, because I couldn't do it at your level. It was just another reason for the like to not be treated very well. Like it was very, it was so hard. I was so mad at that. I was so mad.
I just felt like I had failed so bad.
That's what I felt like.
I felt like I had just completely fucked up in a huge way. Like we were far enough down the road of like healing together and doing work together. And like, this was pre-therapy. This was
It was pre-therapy.
This was before our big MDMA experiences.
Oh, yeah.
Like this was very much, I don't want to say early on in our healing journey together, but towards the beginning where we had enough footing under us that we had done some work together, that we'd
done a lot of work.
We've done a lot of work. And so, I felt like we probably learned a ton from that experience.
We did.
Because I think about how we help and facilitate each other today.
Right? It's very
right?
different.
It's so different.
We're not like, Phil, damn it, Phil, you can do it. Be
Pull
angry,
over.
Phil.
Get out of the car.
We're like, take your time. We're here for the ride. It's good. We were so like, like,
heal, damn it, heal.
oh my gosh.
I think I was hungry. Like I was hungry for healing. I was hungry for pain to be over. I was hungry for all of these things to just kind of get better in our life.
I was as well. And I felt like that was going opposite of all the healing and the breakthrough that I had just experienced. Wow. I felt like that was a regression.
Oh, no.
And I think at the time it was a regression.
Wow.
And for you, it's so confusing because you had just done that and you had so much liberation in that sense. Of course you want to share that liberation.
Yeah, I mean, it's what breaks me free.
Right?
Like rewind the clock from that moment and a week later, 10 days earlier, it's what opens me up and cracks me open and breaks me free. One person's medicine
is another person's poison,
right?
And vice versa.
We've had to learn that lesson, unfortunately, countless times,
right?
Where what works for me doesn't work for you.
At times, right?
I know. How confusing can it get? Because there's certain times where
we're
it's
very
exactly
much
what you
drinking
need.
the same medicine and being like, cheers, here we go. And other times, and on top of it, we couldn't have a cigarette after.
Oh yeah,
we were just
smoking.
like,
Jesus, raw dogging it the whole way home. Totally that John Travolta, Uma Thurman. That was fucking shit.
I'm glad we made it home.
I'm glad we've made it to this point. Yeah, that was terrible. That was a tough moment. It's fascinating to me that somehow my brain has separated the joy and the light and the dark, right? The trip to California was incredible. So much fun. We had such a good time. What about the trip home? Because I remember it was kind of like our honeymoonish vibe where we were just kind of flying by the seat of our pants, right? We definitely had a plan. We had places that we had reserved, we had hotel rooms and stuff. But a big chunk of that experience was also us just doing whatever we wanted, going whatever way we wanted to go. And I remember that we were driving from LA to Vegas, and I remember we were looking for nude resorts.
Are you going to tell
way.
that story? I
Because
was
we had
just
such a
thinking
good time
about
at
it,
the beach,
right?
Where we're like, we got to get naked outside more.
Right, we got to be naked with people.
Yeah,
in the sun.
You know, it's funny. The people, it's just the beach, like
right,
the sand and the sun and like the out, like
there was something about that liberation.
It's the freedom, you know, around other people and having, because everybody that we met, and it wasn't like a lot of people. There was only a handful of people on the beach, right? I think less than.
There was 1 million. It was nipple to nipple out
wall
there.
to wall. There was 5 people spread across like this little beach. It was plenty of room for all of us to enjoy. But everybody that we passed, walked by, you know, said hello. Everybody was really nice. Right. And it's not like they were going to be mean or something, right? But at the same time, it was a great first experience for us. So on the way home, we're like, well, let's recreate this magic.
Do you remember the guy that was nice enough to let us know that the cove we were sitting in?
Yes.
But how happy, like he was skipping.
He was so happy.
He was skipping and just wagging in the breeze. I was like, I want to be able to skip on. He was like a puppy out playing.
Yeah.
He was so happy.
He was having a good time.
And I'm like, how do you find that level of, because I was just like,
well, that's it. You just got to get naked on the beach more often.
And skip, apparently.
And skip around.
Apparently it's the skip. We weren't skipping.
No.
We were having a good time, but we weren't skipping. But, oh my gosh. I'm embarrassed now.
So we try to find a nude resort between LA and Vegas as we're driving, and we don't have any luck. So we finally got into Vegas, but ended up staying outside of Vegas. I think it's Prime or Prim or something like that. And stayed in one of those places out there because we were dead tired from driving. So get up the next day and leave, and that's when this anger thing took place a few hours later.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's fascinating to me. Again, it's just like the separation between the good times and the bad times. Because I don't remember that drive. I mean, I remember it, but we've also made that drive a ton. So of course they're going to blend with, you know, other memories and things like that. But we made it.
We made it.
We learned.
We did.
And we've learned over the years. And I love how we support each other now. You know, I love how a lot of times, I think what we have learned earlier in the episode when you were describing going back and being there with that 3-year-old version of yourself, I feel like that's how we support each other now, where we just literally show up and validate and support. It's just, that sucks. I mean, it's not just that sucks, right? We're like, that sucks. That childhood memory you have, that sucks. Tough to be you, but it's just being there with each other and letting the person process and feel and experience and just holding that space so that it's safe for them to feel and everything. That's how we do it today. Neither one of us are trying to, we definitely at times, I think, still do that thing where like, do you need help? Like, I got a bag of tricks over here. And you're like, I got a bag of, because you're always trying to not shove things down my throat, but you're always trying to help me using the ways that help you. And I'm always trying to help you using the ways that help me. And the majority of the time, we just need to support each other in the ways that work for ourselves, you know?
I like that we do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't force you to feel, and you don't force me to feel, especially things we're not ready for. But if we're like, I'm ready to feel, then we've got the other person's back.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, I don't know what to do. I need help. Then we've got each other without, this works like without dictating what the other
comes
person
back
needs.
to our big wave riding metaphor.
Yeah, it does.
And I think sometimes when we're out there cruising around looking for waves, because there's times where I feel ready to go like ride. You know, I'm in a state of emotional, I don't want to say chaos because it's not during chaotic times. It's like I'm feeling grounded in my body and able to do emotional work. So that's when it's like, let's put on our wetsuits and go get out into the water. And sometimes when we go out there, I can find the waves that I want to surf. Like I've already been scoping them. And sometimes you help me. It's like you pull me into a wave. Yeah. There's times that we're out there and because you know what it's like to be out on that water, you can see some of my waves coming. And you're like, hold on, let's go for this one. And you'll prompt me and you'll guide me and you'll give me subtle direction and plant seeds. And it's literally like that thing where they're towing in those, you know, because that happens. I've watched those documentaries where those big wave surfers, where it's like sometimes those guys, because everybody that's on those jet skis are surfers.
Right.
They're not like, you know, the lifeguard that's just, it's not Baywatch out on those jet skis.
Right.
They're fucking surfers.
Yeah. They're big wave surfers.
Yeah. They know what they're doing out there. And that's the thing where it's like, you know how to surf big waves emotionally. And there's times when I'm out there ready to ride and you're like, oh, baby, I'm going to tow you into this one. Hold on. And then I'm like, that's a big one, baby. I don't know if I can do it. And then you're just like sitting back watching. But I love that. So different than how we did things. Right. Even what did we decide? That was 2018?
Yeah.
2018.
There's been a lot of healing since then.
Yeah. 6 years later.
And we listen to the other person if they're like,
it was around this time of year too. I feel like it was in the fall.
Oh my gosh, it was, because
we could go and see when, let's go.
I mean, I know that
how funny would it be if it's the same fucking time period?
Well, it is the same time period because it was in October.
When was A Star Is Born released with Lady Gaga?
A Star Is Born was released on October 5th, 2018.
Exact same time of fucking year. Right. We're recording this podcast on the 25th, so we're about 2 weeks off, but that happens all the time where we're reprocessing stuff at the same time that it's happened. So 6 years ago, we were going through that experience.
Whoa. That's it?
And this is how far we've come in 6 years.
Doesn't that seem wild to you?
Yeah.
That we went from like creating more trauma with each other, trying to be helpful.
Yeah. That was a traumatic event.
That was a traumatic event, but like, because it seems so like, that was only 6 years ago.
Right.
What?
That's what happens when you ride big waves, babe. You can do a lot of work in a short amount of time.
That just blows me away that was only 6 years ago.
It's kind of bananas.
Yeah.
Very cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, folks. Fucking be nice to each other. This was a masterclass on how to support your partner and how not to.
And how not to. Right. Yeah.
What to do and what not to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So much of our stuff has been going through the journey of getting it wrong. We're not a preach by book. We're a trial and error kind of guy. Like we have went through and got it.
We checked all those boxes
wrong over and over.
Well, that's what they say, right? Like Edison, figured out 10,001 ways to not fix, to make the light bulb, and then so we've done a lot of ways to not do relationships healthy. And if you continue to listen to the podcast, we'll probably talk about them because there's a lot more.
Right? You're going to see more because we're humans.
We tried to fix things in our relationship with a lot of hammers.
We did.
There's a lot of hammering.
Bam, 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 bam.
We're like, hey, we know what's going to work here. Let's hammer that.
Right?
Hey, we're struggling and fix that with a fucking hammer.
Why are we so afraid of making mistakes? We're so good at them. Like, gotta get it perfect. Since when? That's not how you learn, sweetheart. At least I take the long way around.
Baby, you're so cute. I love you so much.
I love you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. And again, if you're listening to this on the day that it comes out, which is October something, it's the Monday before Halloween. Come join us live on YouTube, Halloween Day, 12 p.m. Eastern. Mm-hmm. We're going to be dressing up and we're going to be talking about scary shit. And
it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
So come hang out with us. Tell your friends. Don't bring your kids. And it would be cool to see your costumes as well. So if you come watch us that day, dress up. And I don't know, we'll figure out a way you can send it to us or something. But
oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be fun, huh?
Yes.
So thank you, everybody. Expect the best.
Plan for the greatest.
We got a wild ride. Wait and see, you and me. We were meant to be.
We want to make something perfectly clear. This podcast is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as a substitute for professional advice. We're sharing with you our own personal experiences and insights, things we have found to be helpful on our healing journey. But we are not licensed therapists. If you need help, it's important to seek out a qualified professional. Remember, we believe that we all do better when we heal together. See you soon.